Thank you for clicking. In this video, I would like to discuss Mr. Noboru Ando, the real big Yakuza gangster boss who turned into truly successful movie actors. My name is Dr. Samurai, and I'm hoping this video would deepen your understanding of underlying mechanics of social problems for you to attain true happiness on this planet Earth. As usual, I would like to provide you the brief, basic information in the first half, and then let's move on to our main discussions in the latter half. Are you ready? Okay, let's start. So, Mr. Noboru Ando, I know most of you are not familiar with this name, but in Japan, especially a little bit older generation, probably maybe older than me, they all know this name. I know in the United States, some actors used to be bad, having a prison experience and being Hells Angels, head of a local chapter. Also, used to be Mafia associate and so on. But this Mr. Ando was the very head of the whole Yakuza organization. He started out his life wanting to be a pilot of a suicide mission, submarine during the World War II. He did not have his father, so he was raised by his mother, who loved Noboru unconditionally. But maybe because of his genes, or because he did not have his father, not having a father, kind of put you in the wrong direction when you hit the puberty, especially the kid is a boy. So at the age of 15, he entered the first reformatory school, and then successively at the age 18 he entered juvie. So he was a tough kid, although he was only, I think, a little bit taller than 5 feet. Could be just 5 feet or so. But you can never underestimate small guys. Like Lucky Luciano. He was not that tall, right? But those small guys, they use brain. And, looking around, all those bosses of Mafia families, and bosses of, gangsters and prison gang, they are not necessarily a big guy. I had this old friend who used to be a boss of his own organization, Yakuza organization. He's now retired, and I talked to him, and he told me that, Dr. Samurai, you often see those big, mafioso, right, who look really tough. Also, those, gangsters who has like a full body tattoos and, very fashionable. And we can, tell he is a gangster, at the grounds right away. But he goes. He was really tough Yakuza, so he killed like 2 people when he was active. But anyway, he goes, those 2 types, I have never seen tough guys. They always back off first. You see what I'm saying? Their energy is into something else than, going all the way on the trajectory of devoting to his organization, so to speak. But anyway, Noboru was like that. He was only 5'2", 5'1", but he was tough kid and very quick and smart. He was ready to die on that submarine mission. But the war ended 1 year before he actually became the pilot. So inside of him, I assume, was like smoldering kind of thing. You understand what I'm talking about, right? He thought he was gonna die for Japan, but he had that chance ripped off. So he was saying, actually I saw him I think twice, maybe, because my brother figure, who was a world karate champion, was a friend of his who always played kind of Chinese chess kind of thing. I cannot explain. It's called a mahjong. But anyway, so he often provided me what was going on with Mr. Ando, although he was already retired. But anyway, he was thinking his life was already lost life. He was in a state of self-abandonment, so to speak, ready to die all the time because he was going to die anyway. So he kind of formed a small gang group, and at the age of 26, he started his own Yakuza gangster family. Among all those traditional, long history families standing everywhere, he started out from scratch at the age of 26. How was he so successful? Because he had, at his peak, 500 members, and most outstanding characteristic of his family was most of them were university students or ex-university students. And I think you go, huh? Mafia family with the university student members? Right. But think about the time. It was right after World War II was over, and Japan was bombarded everywhere. Everywhere was black because of the burn. This is apart from Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Tokyo and those major cities, they are all burned out. So there was no university buildings. So those kids who were going to study at the university, they lost their dreams too. They were lost youngsters, you understand? And they are physically strong too. Some of them are from a karate club, some from judo, some from football, some from Aikido and all those martial arts too, so they are tough kids who were attracted to violence. And the reason why his young organization became so popular in such a short time period was he denied all the traditional red tapes to become an official members, and those sense of guilt when they quit their membership. Like in your Mafia families, they flick their fingers and put the blood and burn the saint, and we're told like, remember, you are gonna be burned like this saint once you violate a murder, Mafia laws and stuff. We have our own initiation ceremony, which is like the boss and the new members sit face to face, and boss have this shot glass of sake. He drink a bit, and the rest he give it to the young member, and he swallowed the rest up in, I think, 3 times, and put the shot glass into his jacket. That shot glass is the sign of him becoming an official member. And also, you have to, usually, not have to, but most of them get a full body tattoos, and also, when you make a mistake, you are supposed to chop off the tip of your pinky finger. Start with the left ones, like a active Mafia members who was living in the same building as mine. He already passed, but he was a nice person, and he thought of me as something like a priest, because I was a teacher, right? So we are not like a youngster friend. He come to me as a family, and at night he used to bring me kind of a food that his wife cooked it too much, for 2 people and stuff like that. And in his case, he didn't have this finger, this, and this. So 2 off of left, 1 off of right. I know the case that a guy removed the pinky this deep, or sometimes like this, as if he was a born mutant. And I know one case that a boss chopped off the tip of his thumb because at the war he mistakenly shot the member of his same group, and he was deeply sorry for him. But anyway, all those things was kind of obstacles for people to enter, and they had to, they couldn't quit being a member. It's like a blood in and blood out, or either they have to, chop off the tip of, pinky finger and stuff, and that's why most people think twice to become Yakuza members, and they get the tattoos and they cannot go back to normal life anymore, right? But Ando told everybody, forget about all those traditional rituals. I don't want you to get a tattoo. I don't want you to, cut off your fingers. I don't want you to wear a kimono. I want all of you to wear Western jacket, and want you to look like a gentleman, okay? And they all have a organization badge. This is the one big difference. It's like a Gambino family, Bonanno family, Lucchese, Genovese, and Colombo. You know, even those 5 families do not have any signature showing that he belongs to that group. But we all have this emblem, badge, you know, of each organization. Design, the logo is different. And Ando family's logo was circle badge, and inside the circle he put a capital A. No, it was very fashionable. So everybody want to be a member of his family, and that's why it became such a big family of 500 members at the peak. And you know, Ando himself was charismatic, of course. I'm gonna talk about it later too, but although he was small, his eyes were that of a beast. One time some interviewer asked him about his eyes, and he goes like, eyes are one of our weapons. You know, I still remember when I was still in a local town, I met with this local gang member. I didn't know him, but later I found out he was an active member of the street stall group. But anyway, he was saying at this, bar conversation to me that, one time I saw Mr. Noboru Ando. He was some kind of celebrity in the world of violence. And I go like, what kind of person was he? He goes like, I met him at a secret gamble joint. And I could not even see his face because it was so scary and cold. So he was doing it exactly as himself was saying it. His eyes are always, sharp. Probably to intimidate others to avoid unnecessary fights, making the opponent feel, oh, this guy is way higher than me, in a natural wall of wilderness. Wolves and bears, they could tell when the other party is way stronger than him, right? They avoid unnecessary fight. It was like that. So that easiness to enter and easiness to leave was one of the main reasons why the group became so big in such a short time period. 500 members. They won multiple wars with the neighboring organizations which have been there from 100 years ago. And he got a good guts. There's one episode, many episodes actually, because it is a poor time, poor age. Starting out, Ando didn't have enough members and enough guns, but they had to fight against existing organizations, right? He go to the office completely by himself, wearing a long coat. He put both of his hands, looking like he's holding two guns inside the coat pockets. But actually, he didn't have anything. But because his eyes were so serious. And he goes like, "You ready to die with me?" And they back off. The boss backed off. Stuff like that, you know? And he gradually become famous in a neighborhood when he went to Ginza, another big town in Tokyo. He was asked like, "Aren't you Mr. Ando?" And he was feeling good knowing that he is becoming so famous in another town that he was not in charge of. And the guy introduced him to his own bar. But things happened, and his face was slashed from ear to the mouth, like Scarface, Al Capone, exactly the same. So one of his movies is titled Scarface. You know, he didn't like to get tattoos or all those, things to disfigure his natural body. But once he got it, it was functioned as something like tattoo. He made up his mind to live in the underground. He operated casinos in multiple main cities in Tokyo. You know, very Western, wearing always expensive suits and expensive American cars, and he was like real gangsters in America. Also, when I was still in rural town before I came up to Tokyo, I went to a bar and there was this local gangster, and he was talking about he met with Mr. Ando at the gamble joint. Now I asked him what kind of person was he. What do you think he answered? He goes, his eyes were so dead sharp, so I couldn't even see his face. Later, Mr. Ando himself said eyes were one of his weapons. You know? He could avoid unnecessary fights by showing what he got is way more powerful and sharp than what the opponent have. But anyway, his career ended when he undertook this loan sharking business from a legitimate old lady whose house was very high society and honorable. She loaned money to this malicious entrepreneur who is not interested in paying back what he borrowed. And he was well known for his bad deals. So he undertook it and went to see the guy at his office. What do you think the guy said? The guy goes, "You know, I am a nice person, aren't I? 'Cause I even offered coffee to the man who came here to take money from me. And he also continued, if you are interested in, I think I can teach you how to borrow money and not to pay it back. And as soon as hearing that, Ando snapped. And he got out, arranged his, family members, and had one guy shoot that bad guy. Making sure he's not gonna kill. But it went wrong, and that bad guy almost died, and it became a big news, and Ando ran away from the police for several days, I think. And he became, Japanese most wanted. His face was everywhere in a poster, And in the end, he was arrested and got a 6-year sentence. He served it, and he came out, saw very young member whose face he didn't even know was killed. And that's the time he decided it's time to dissolve his Ando family. It was when he was 38 years old, But there's another story behind the scene. The reason why he undertook that loan sharking business, which was the right act considering the situation. And the other guy was a very bad guy. But anyway, the reason was when there was this big meeting where all the bosses in Kanto area. Kanto is like a large area including Tokyo, okay? There are like 30 or 50 bosses got together for a meeting. And Ando was talking to that boss he was familiar with, who was powerful. He was, that big boss was kind of his consultant. And he was talking to him, and there's the other guy came up to Ando and says, "Oh, Mr. Ando, your seat is over there. It's like a way far down from the big boss." He couldn't take it psychologically. That's why he made up his mind, I'm not gonna stay this low tier anymore. So he was kind of looking for something big to make his name known all over Japan. And that was this debt collection requested by this old lady in the aristocratic social class. And I kind of suspect he was thinking about quitting his organization even at the time. Because although he didn't have his father, he had a very loving mother. And remember, those who were loved unconditionally can never go all the way in an underworld, So I think he was planning to be an actor. And before that, he thought he needed to do something big so that everybody knows who he is. So he was a very popular actor in gangster movies, which were the most popular type of movies in those days after the war. and probably till 30 years ago. And remember in my video about tattoo, this Jingi Naki Tatakai, the War Without Justice movie, main character had a big carp back piece on the back. This main character was a disciple of Mr. Ando too. So Mr. Ando, having been a real underworld boss, always took some special position in big Yakuza movies in Japan. You know, big boss. And later on, because of his fame, I think he could live, you know, earning money somehow for his notoriety. And he died at the age of 89 because of old age, I think. What a story, huh? Real boss of Mafia family became huge movie star and died peacefully at 89. And that boss's name is Mr. Noboru Ando. When I saw him, he was very kind old man already. And knowing that I could speak English, oh, you could speak English, huh? Maybe someday I may ask you something, some favor. I remember he said that. But anyway, I wish him good rest in peace. This is all for today, and if you like this kind of discussions, please click red Dr. Summary logos and check out my playlist. Up until next time, wherever you are on this same miraculous planet, on this same miraculously short period of time.